Hi there. Again, my name is Cleon Smith, realtor and also investor. So wanted to follow up on the previous video. We talk about options for when you want to stay in the home. Let's talk about options when you cannot stay in the home. I just want to start off the bat by saying it's in everyone's best interest for homeowners to stay in their home. It's in your neighbor's best interest. It's in the school board's best interest. It's in your best interest. It's in the Fed, the state. It's in everyone's best interest for homeowners to stay in their home. We do know that everyone's situation is unique, and there are certain times that homeowners may not be able to stay in their home, but there are still options how to discharge off the property in a way that doesn't hurt the homeowner. So let's talk about what some of those options look like. You can try to sell the property in a traditional sale and make up the difference by bringing the cash to settlement. What does that mean? So you sell the property. Let's say, use a simple example. You owe the lender, you borrowed $100. Your property, if you sell it, will only give you 80, so you can pay off the lender. The additional 20, you may be able to have that in some other way and be able to make that up so you can pay off the lender the full 100. So that's a traditional sale. Some owners may choose to do this rather than a short sale. Short sale I'll talk about in a minute, because a short sale can hurt your credit and prevent or cause you some difficulty when you try to borrow a loan again in the future. And it does hurt your credit. So you want to make sure you're informed about, all options. So I'll talk about short sale in a minute. But before I do that, let me talk about another option you might have, what we call a deed in lieu of foreclosure. What's a deed in lieu of foreclosure? Simple explanation is you go to the lender and you say, I will give you back the property in exchange for you canceling the debt that I owe you. There are costs and benefit to each option. Remember that the lender is in the process of lending money, not necessarily holding property. So they may not agree. It all depends on what their internal procedures are, what's going on in the larger real estate market. But that option is on the table for you as a homeowner to go to the lender and say, can we do this, and have them agree to it. Next, let's talk about short sale. So what is it? Very important, you get the lender approval. The traditional sale that I mentioned above, that's a traditional sale. You don't need the lender approval. In a short sale, you do need the lender approval, because essentially you're saying to them, Mr. Lender, Mrs. Lender, please agree for me to pay. Let's go back to the $100 example. I borrowed 100 from you. Please agree to accept the 80, and let's call this debt paid in full. Sometimes they will agree to that. Sometimes they'll say, yes, you can sell the property for 80. However, the 20 that you still owe us, we're going to create a new loan essentially, and you can pay us that back over time. It takes a lot of paperwork to get you into the home, into getting this loan in the first place when you started the loan, and it's going to take twice the amount of paperwork to get you out of it. So make sure you have professionals, real estate professionals, that know the short sale process and can navigate you through it. Because before you attempt it, make sure you know what it's like. So because there's costs and benefits for every option, so you want to make sure you understand what's going on before you attempt it. Do your due diligence. Make sure, again, the folks you're dealing with know what they're doing, because this option does have some potential negative downsides. So before you take it, you want to make sure that you understand what they are. Okay, the final option is, you can use whatever metaphor you want. Foreclosure. It is the third rail. It is a spike in the heart. It is the grim reaper of the property ownership process. So short explanation is, you pay, you stay, you don't, you won't. Okay, the lender basically comes back and repossesses the property because you were not able to, take advantage of one of the other options, the forbearance I mentioned in the previous video. You weren't able to sell the property short. You weren't able to do any modifications, or you just decide not to do anything and the property goes to foreclosure. So the lender comes back and repossesses the property. There is a process they have to follow before they do that. It all depends on the state that you're in. what state laws are. It also is driven by their own internal procedures. It also depends on that document you sign with them called the promissory note. The note that's gonna lays out what the foreclosure process will look like for you. If after all options have been explored, as I mentioned, and known decisions has been made, the foreclosure process will begin. And in this step, a real estate professional is going to be unable to help you once the foreclosure proceedings begin, because it's in the hands of the bank at that time. Something I do want to mention is, there are always ways to avoid these options. If you take early action and avoid these processes completely, every situation is different. Everyone's situation is unique. There are some options that does not involve, foreclosure, short sales. You might be able to, and I do some of these too, is called subject to selling and buying. So if you want to learn more about those, send me a private message. I can see if, those your scenario makes sense for one of those options. As I mentioned before, your neighborhood, your community, your family, it all depends on what your situation is like, but it's in all those communities' best interest for homeowners to stay in their home whenever possible. There is help. Let me help you. Let folks who know what they're doing help you. The sooner you take action, the more choices you will have. And so again, I'll post various links and resources to home counseling and various options that are available to homeowners who may find themselves with with a distressed property. So thank you, and I'll see you next time, and I'll keep doing these type of videos to help homeowners who are looking for options that can help them and their families. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye now.